I'm Thomas Hill. I'm a clinical assistant professor at New York University's Center for Global Affairs. I previously was working at Columbia University's Center for International Conflict Resolution, which is the institution that I worked at most of the time that I've been involved in Iraq. Now I've been here, I sort of stopped counting when I hit 20, so I don't know, maybe close to 25 times since 2003. I've actually been working on this, things related to Iraq since around 1999 or 2000. I came to AUI-S for the first time in March of 2010, and we developed a program that involved a workshop for students, a film screening, and a panel discussion with Iraqi peace builders who work at primarily the community level in different communities throughout the north of Iraq. This trip has been a quick one. I've been here for, it'll be about 2 weeks, and what I've been doing is running a series of events. The first one was a workshop for students who had worked with previously on sort of intermediate peace-building skills and concepts, and we worked together for 4 days, and then following that we had a film screening of a great documentary called Pray the Devil Back to Hell, which is about the women peacemakers in Liberia. After that, we brought a group of people that I've had some contact with for a number of years from Kirkuk, 3 representatives of the Kirkuk Council of Notables, which is a mainly tribal network, but also involves some people who are other prominent members of Kirkuk society who represent all of the different ethnic and religious groups in Kirkuk, and who have worked together over the last now almost 5 years to address conflicts in a peaceful manner in Kirkuk in order to reduce the possibilities of violence coming from primarily community-level disputes. Today, I'm actually speaking in one of the classes in about an hour. I'm going to have a chance to speak with Professor Laraby's students in his comparative religions class about the role of religion in peace building. And then I'm starting a workshop this afternoon for new students who haven't previously had exposure to the subject of peace building. So we're going to have hopefully 10 or 15 students to spend a couple days together, and then they're going to have some follow-up activities after I leave. During my years working in Iraq, I've had an opportunity to work with a lot of adults, but not that many students. And what I found here at AUI-S is that the students are incredibly hungry for new and different forms of knowledge and exposure to different international practices. Students here, I think, have been wonderful. The AUI-S students have been really, really curious, engaged. They ask difficult questions. They're clearly, learning to think critically in a new way and to really conceptualize of peace as something that's not just the absence of direct violence and war, but really is, about equity and equality and people having their basic needs met. So I think that's really exciting for them to be thinking about it in that way. I've worked with a lot of professors in Iraq over the last decade around the question of how do you start to bring ideas like conflict resolution and peace building into the university system. And there's a real challenge here within the Iraqi system because everything is so arranged in pillars by discipline. Peace building and conflict resolution is a very interdisciplinary field. At AUI-S, I think that the way that research centers have been created in order to create a space for consideration of questions and issues that are important to the cross-disciplinary boundaries is extremely important. The Center for Peace and Security Studies in particular at AUI-S, students have the chance to begin to pull those different parts apart from one another, and begin to consider, what does it really mean? What does security in Iraq really mean? What does peace in Iraq really mean? And what are the actual practical steps that people can take to achieve those things?